Elvis Presley's been gone 35 years and he still packs them in all of the time with his impersonators, and the most famous impersonator, Elvis Presley impersonator in the whole world. He's been on more than 6,000 front pages in various newspapers around the world, as said, and he's with me today. He's my guest. His name is Dorian Baxter, and he's known in the area, well, actually he's known worldwide as Elvis Priestly. Hi, Dorian.
Nice to see you, Brian.
Not too sure if I should call you Dorian or Elvis.
Well, you know, the two are synonymous these days.
I see.
All I can say to you for having me on the show again is thank you. Thank you very much.
That's very good. Okay, now you are an Archbishop.
I am indeed, yes. I'm the Archbishop of the Federation of Independent Anglican Churches of North America. And of course, I began my career ordained by Archbishop Louis Garnsworthy with the Anglican Church of Canada at St. James Cathedral on the 15th day of May, 1983. So I've been around the church for a while.
Now, I know people who wouldn't go to church, and those people would probably come to your church. I call it a gimmick, not a great word, but use one for lack of a better one. With the gimmick coming to see Elvis, there would be a chance that you could actually spread the word to them. Do you get much of that?
You know, you're quite right. People that don't normally go to a church come to our church for a number of reasons. I have been the padre for the Newmarket Veterans and the Newmarket Legion for 12 years. And we meet at the Newmarket Legion Hall every Sunday. We're working with, like Elvis, we're working on the building, you see. But when we can't
don't leave the building.
Exactly. But when we can't work, when we can't be there, we go to the veterans. But you know, even in Memphis, they fly me down 3 or 4 times a year to do Elvis down there. And you know, because of Elvis, they hear the gospel, they turn their lives over to Jesus Christ, and it's wonderful, wonderful. And it's all thanks to Elvis.
I should tell our viewers we're actually in your home in Newmarket, Ontario.
That is correct.
And this is where you have your church.
Well, not in this home, but in Newmarket, yes, that's right.
That I know, yeah. Okay, now, just to move away from that a little bit, let's talk about, there's an association called, or a government agency, I should say, called Children's Aid.
That is correct.
And just prior to going on camera now, you told me that this morning you were in court.
Yes, I was.
It was with regard to Children's Aid. Now, Children's Aid, I guess, is federal.
Yes.
But there's several agencies here in this area, and many of them in the province of Ontario, and certainly in other provinces also. Tell me firstly about Children's Aid. What do they do?
You're quite right about one thing, Brian. Children's Aid is provincially run. Now, in Ontario, I founded NAPA, the National Association for Public and Private Accountability, in 1996. And a part of that is the Canada Court Watch program, which is on the other side of that card with the Canadian flag. The reason for that is I became the first Canadian in the history of this country to shatter forever the immunity of the Children's Aid Societies of Canada. And this morning I was in court. A young lady just gave birth. She and her husband, they've been married a year, just gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl called Megan. And that was 7 days ago. And after the birth, the Children's Aid moved in and took the child because they were dubious about the parents' ability to look after that child. And to me, this is wrong. The couple had gone to Children's Aid 2 months ago and said, listen, we might need your help, and this is the problems we've had. And you know what? I was fighting for them today, and I think I made a bit of an inroad. Hopefully the child will be returned before the beginning of November.
But there must have been a reason. They just don't swoop into a hospital and take a baby out of a bed and take it where?
Yes, well, the trouble is the children, so I think I said to you before, power corrupts, Brian.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. We in Ontario are asking for the provincial government to give the Ombudsman power to intervene because there need to be checks and balances. Now, in this particular instance, this couple had some difficulties with mental illness, schizophrenia over the years. They've got that under control. Now, because they're so honest, they went 3 months ago to children and said, listen, we're going to give birth to this child. We'd like the Children's Aid involved to help us to be better parents. Instead of helping them, Children's Aid of York Region swooped in and took the child.
Are there other stories like this?
Oh, I'm dealing with 4 already in different parts of Ontario.
And as a priest or as an archbishop, this lands on your desk a lot?
Yes, of course. And I mean, as the Archbishop of the Federation of Independent Anglican Churches North America, I am the founding national chairman of NAPA and Canada Court Watch. So I help as many people as I can. We don't charge a cent. We're there to help them. And we work with the Children's Aid. But if they don't take a reasonable stand, then we can get tough. And
do they take a reasonable stand? Mostly,
usually they do.
Usually,
well, once they know that I'm involved, because they know that I was the first person to shatter their immunity back in 1996.
What is Children's Aid like with regard to government controlled? Is it like an agency? Is it are
Well,
they elected or are they hired? Or
yeah,
who do they
what-
work for? What do they do?
What people don't understand, Brian, they are privately run. And this is where there's a major problem, because each one of them is interested in making money. Every file they open for a child, they get $2,500 per month from the government. So it becomes...
What?
Yes, absolutely. This is how the government funds children's aid. For every child that they can either apprehend or say needs their attention, the government funds them to the point of $2,500 a month out of your money and mine.
So if they go out today and wrongfully seize or take
That's
10
correct.
children, they make $25,000 a day.
That is correct. That is correct. Because the moment they register that, and that's why many of us are screaming blue murder and saying, for heaven's sake, this is a money-making scam. And we've got and each one is privately run.
Well, this is
privately run.
Pretty screwed up kind of incentive.
It
isn't
is totally
So you go out to get paid. You have to go out and seize children.
Not exactly, but you're on the right track. The more cases that they can open and plead that they need the money, the more money they get. And unfortunately, the present provincial government, headed up by Mike Harris has given them unprecedented power. And of course, Dalton McGuinty has kept the same thing. We need checks and balances.
Well, this is a little bit bizarre. I can't even believe it.
Most people can't. Most people think that it's run by it's not run by the government. Now, admittedly, the government funds them, but they are privately run. And
so these private agencies, how much money do they make? Pick an agency, like would one agency, the person that runs it, would they make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month?
Way more than that.
$50,000 a month?
Honestly, I can tell you right now, it's way more than that. I couldn't put a finger on the amount, but I
more
do
than
know
$50,000 a month to go around and harass people.
I'm sure it must be more than that. More like 100,000. I mean, it depends how many. Now, don't get me wrong. We do need the Children's Aid Society. We do need good social workers.
We need lots of things in this country, but they need to be done correctly.
Yes, and they all need to be held accountable. That's why I formed this organization, the National Association for Public and Private
So you're the
Accountability.
only one that's holding them accountable.
Well, right now the
government
literally.
doesn't?
The government doesn't.
But the government pays them.
The government funds them.
And the taxpayers and all
That
these
is
people.
correct. That is correct. And most people like you are ignorant. Not that I'm saying but you're ignorant of these facts until you hear about it now from me. Most people think, oh, Children's Aid. Oh my goodness! If they make a decision, it holds. But they don't realize.
Is this true across the country?
Across the country.
Look
yes.
in Edmonton, Calgary, Victoria,
across the country. Every province runs its own Children's Aid
Halifax,
Society.
really?
And not one of them has anybody to hold them accountable officially other than my organization, which is nationwide.
And they're making this kind of money.
They're making lots of money on children. Now, don't get me wrong.
I got the good points,
yeah,
but
there are good social workers that do a good job.
Well, sure there are. But if you want to do bad, what better place to do it than here?
Absolutely.
You get pretty well paid for it. And you're not really doing bad to the child in some senses because you're taking the child away, you're causing inconvenience, you give the child back, you get your check.
Yeah, but what I'm worried about is this little girl, Megan, who was born a week ago, is now missing the 3 weeks, which are crucial. If anybody studies those 3 weeks being breastfed by the mother, that's when the bonding takes place.
But when she comes back in 3 weeks, I'm back to the finance part. I get what you're saying. What happens with that $2,500? Do they get that just for the 1 month?
As long as they keep the file open, which they intend to do, they get the money.
Will the file remain open after the child comes back?
Once they have signed off the case, the file closes and the money stops.
Sure, but if the child comes back in 3 weeks and they decide to not close the file for 3 months.
Then they continue to get the funding because they want the social workers doing regular visits, which is fine.
So basically you can have no children in your seized possession, call it, and you can have 20 files open.
That is correct.
And you're making $50,000.
That is correct, yes. I mean, it's a serious issue, and it is a drain upon the taxpayer.
I'm glad that you're doing this. Good for you.
Well, thank you. And if I was Elvis, I would say thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. To be doing this and on a federal basis,
yes.
I mean...
well, provincial and federal.
Well, but still, that's a big deal. Yeah. Now let's get back to... I'm kind of heated up on that, so let's move away.
Yeah,
let's go back to the Elvis part, back to your preaching. People come to your church, and because of the uniqueness and the difference, you're making a difference. Not just with the children, but with so many other people, and they have their regular problems every day.
Well, I was telling you, Brian, when I go into the hospital as one of the chaplains, and I've got my little Elvis fro, let me tell you.
There's you and Elvis right there.
Yep, that's me with Elvis. But that was actually a computerized picture, because I never met Elvis. But I've met his sister,
Well, he's been dead 35 years, and you look, 36, 37.
Well, how kind of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I'm actually older than you. We just found that out today.
We did, I know. And that's your own hair, by
That
the
is
way.
my own hair, yes,
But
indeed.
I should tell that to you. That's his own hair.
Yeah, so this is the ponytail, the biggest comb over in North America.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
When the wind blows, if I don't put my head down, I flip my lid. You know?
Now, in church, do you sing Elvis
Yes,
songs?
in fact, I should tell the people out there that if anybody's listening, on Elvis's birthday this year, the first time in the history of our church, which is 9 years old, on Elvis's birthday, January the 8th, 2012, we're having Elvis's stepbrother as a guest preacher at the Royal Canadian Legion, 707 Srigley Street in Newmarket. And guess what? It is actually on his birthday, Sunday, January the 8th, 2012. Be there or be square. And I understand you're considering coming and preaching a homily as well. That would be nice, right?
Well, thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sing us a song before we go.
Well, when I was in Thunder Bay, I got a tremendous amount of mileage out of taking blue suede shoes, and it became, well, it's a 1 for the Father, a 2 for the Son, a 3 for the Holy Spirit, and your life has just begun. You can do nothing, but don't turn Jesus away. You could do nothing, but don't turn Jesus away. Then we took the Beach Boys, and that became, if everybody was a Christian in Canada today, everybody be busy living the Christian way. There would be no more murders, there'd be no more stuff. Everybody be busy living the Christian. And then the band would come inside, outside, Thunder Bay, Jesus, Jesus, every day. So there it is, Brian.
Elvis Priestly, thank you very
And I will
much,
say
Elvis.
thank you. God bless you. And I hope to see you on January the 8th, 2012, 707 Srigley, Newmarket Legion. Be there or be
I
square.
hope you do.
Thank you very much.
See ya.